Beautification Awards. G, request to approve payment application number 2 for the 2021 water main replacement project M718 to Paymar Enterprises of New Haven, Michigan in the amount of $387,357.20. H, request to authorize the Oak Park Recreation Department to renew municipal credits and community credits contract with Suburban Mobility Authority for regional transportation, which we all know as SMART. I, licenses new and renewals submitted for September 14th, 2021. We need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Burns. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Councilmember Whitehead. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Are there any elected officials? See, no, not seeing any. We do have a joyous event that we are celebrating today. It is a proclamation recognizing the 100th anniversary of the First Baptist Church of Oak Park, and the minister of the church, let's see, and his lovely wife are here. Robert C. Reynolds and Lisa Reynolds are here to officially accept this proclamation. And let me read, first of all, just an aside. About 5 years ago, there was an enormous, before the Reynolds came, there was an enormous fire in that church.
Mm-hmm.
And trucks and ladders, those tall ladders from 6 different communities came in to help us put out this just enormous fire. And the previous minister, in the midst of his church burning, said, you know, the building is not the church. It's the people who are the church. And so we will rebuild. And I just thought that was such a courageous thing to say in the midst of a fire with water coming from all these tall hoses and sirens and everything going on. And it's that spirit that has kept this church going for 100 years. And I'm sure we'll keep the church going for another 100 years. So this is whereas the City of Oak Park is proud to recognize the First Baptist Church of Oak Park on the occasion of their 100th anniversary, and whereas the First Baptist Church of Oak Park began its ministry in 1921 as a small prayer group gathering in a home, executing the same mission it has today to offer a friendly place to worship, learn about Jesus Christ, and fellowship with the Lord's people. And whereas the First Baptist Church of Oak Park has been located in our city since 1951, when members temporarily met in a theater on 10 Mile Road while waiting for their new location on Coolidge Highway to be built, the congregation moved into the Coolidge Highway building in 1952 and still meets there today. Whereas throughout its 100 years of existence and through the leadership of 8 excellent pastors, the First Baptist Church of Oak Park has long been committed to helping and assisting others through ministries that include a food pantry, a clothes closet, a grief support group, free movie night, harvest festival, a community fun day, and various other well-intentioned outreaches that give back to those who live locally and beyond. Whereas under the leadership of Pastor Robert C. Reynolds, the First Baptist Church of Oak Park continues to be a welcoming, friendly place of worship that encourages others to seek fellowship and ways to help others. Now therefore, be it resolved that I, Marion McClellan, Mayor of the City of Oak Park, on behalf of the Oak Park City Council, do hereby recognize the 100th anniversary of the First Baptist Church of Oak Park and extend sincere appreciation for the church's valuable ministry that serves the people of Oak Park and surrounding communities. And in testimony whereof, I've signed my name officially and caused the seal of the City of Oak Park to be affixed this 14th day of September 2021. Marion McClellan, Mayor. So a little applause for a 100-year-old church. And do we have someone to take a picture?
Yes.
Yes, okay. We have our photo guy. If city council members would come on down for a photo op with masks. To get under the seal, centered under the seal, if you're wondering what all the movies are. Our eyes are smiling.
We need to say a word.
That's dangerous. That's
No.
like asking a politician.
We're doing this for 100 years.
Yeah, 100 years, and we thank God for it. And again, I was talking to Officer Benson and Director Cooper, how blessed we are that God has us serving here at Oak Park. Beautiful community where different races of people come together and get along. And it's such a blessing to be a part of it. So we thank you, Council. We thank you, Mayor, for the recognition of what God has done for 100 years. So thank you so much.
That's wonderful. Mayor Pro Tem noticed that, remembered that after the fire and the building wasn't able to be used, the congregation held their services in a tent on the grounds.
parking lot, yep.
What's that?
It's in the lot, on the
In
grounds.
Yep, in the, anyway, that was lovely, and I will be in the church for the meeting. We have no public hearings, communications, or special licenses. That brings us down to number 11 on the agenda, accounting reports. Need a motion to approve payment for an invoice submitted by Schiffman Fournier for legal services retainer for October 1, 2021 to December 31, 2021, in the total amount of $18,000. Is there a motion?
So moved?
Mayor Pro Tem, thank you. Is there a second? Second. Thank you. Councilmember Edgar. Just for the new members, and we always pay 1 quarter ahead for this service. Roll call vote, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Burns.
Yes.
Councilmember Edgar.
Yes.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes.
Councilmember Whitehead.
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you. We're on item 12, bids. We need a motion to award the regular bid for the 2021-22 miscellaneous concrete project M727 to Mattioli Cement Company of Fenton, Michigan. The total amount of $497,000 $201.85. It's further recommended the alternate bid of $128,700 also be approved, and that funding for the alternate bid be provided from the Major Street Fund, of which up to $69,171 will be reimbursed to the city from an LRIP grant. Let's get the motion and then find out what all of this is about.
So moved.
Okay, motion by Councilmember Edgar. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Councilmember Whitehead. Assistant City Manager Kevin Yee. Can you explain the dual bids and the grant?
Yes, good evening. So Oakland County for the last several years has had what they call the LRIP grant, where they grant projects for basically renewing areas or doing work within major corridors of municipalities. So we've received that over the last several years. We've done a lot of different projects with it, and this is one that we wanted to utilize this funding for, is to replace a lot of the stamp color concrete sections on our major streets that are starting to fail. So we did get the grant money. We put it in as an alternate bid because we weren't sure what was going to happen with the typical miscellaneous concrete contractors. We weren't sure if they were actually going to be competitive in doing a stamp colored concrete type of project. But we are comfortable with Medioli Cement. They've done a lot of our work before. We've talked to them about the stamp colored concrete, and they've done this type of work before, and we are comfortable that they would be able to do it. So we want to award the project, including the stamp colored concrete, to them.
So, let's see. Okay. Yeah, I know that we've been happy with their work. They've been working with us for years and are a dependable
Correct.
Group.
Correct. So the bid for the normal work came in right at budget, and then we would have to, add into the fund balance the additional amount for the stamp colored concrete, of which, like I said, $69,000 is grant eligible.
Okay. We have a motion and a second, correct?
Madam
Yes.
Mayor, I have a question.
And then a question.
Thank
Councilmember Whitehead.
Do we know what areas for this bid would be? What are the major streets, or is it a major street, or?
So this is our miscellaneous concrete project, and what we do with this is we take care of sections all over the city. So, we may have a section of water main break where we have to replace a drive approach or a portion of the street, or it may be just failing sections of street. So, there are a few sections that we've talked about with city council before of streets where we're going to replace, sections. And I say sections, I mean smaller patches of streets. So not a whole street, but we're talking about patches where our goal is to try to take this funding and make a street that we can fix one patch and make and it would make the rest of the street serviceable. So this isn't a reconstruction type of project. This is more of like, let's fix sections, like an intersection might be failing, or a patch on Coolidge, or, a patch on Oak Park Boulevard or Lincoln, or any number of streets throughout the city. So this is a patching, I say patching, it's miscellaneous concrete. So it's a much more permanent fix than like a cold patch, but it's just meant to fix sections all over the city.
Mayor McCarty,
Yes, Councilmember Edgar.
have you identified where some of these sections might be replaced or fixed?
Absolutely. Yeah, like I said, they're all over. I mean, there's sections everywhere.
And how far will this money go?
Not as far as I'd like, but it's amazing how much these things cost. But yeah, I mean, so generally what we do is we bid it out this time of year, in the summer/fall. We do a portion of the work in the fall, and then we do a portion of the work in the spring. Because if we have like a water main break, or we have any issues over the winter, we want to be able to fix them in the spring and not have to wait to rebid the project out. So if we took out your drive approach because of a water main break or a section of street or something like that, we don't want to wait until we bid the project out and someone's waiting, 6, 8, 10 months to get their driveway fixed. So we intentionally do it in the spring and in the fall, so that we try to fix any sections that are damaged or broken or really in need of repair sooner than later.
Now, this is not the side streets that need repair. This is the major streets?
There's side streets, there's major streets, there's everywhere. This is fixing
this the map that was in the budget?
So this project, we don't supply a map because it would be dots everywhere. I mean, this is like, patches of road, sidewalk, drive approach. I mean, it's all over the city. We don't generally supply a map of this project because it's, like I said, there'd be dots and circles everywhere.
Right. So, in talking to residents, I know that people report a bad patch and kind of expect it to be fixed that week or in a couple of weeks. And we have a long list. Can you speak to your list of projects that need doing and the percentage that we can actually do in a year?
Well, as far as percentage goes, I guess I can't really speak to a percentage that we can do in a year. I mean, you can look at the numbers, and unfortunately, I don't have my glasses, but you can see the square yards of pavement that you could do with this amount of money, and it's not a huge amount, but it will, be able to supply, like I said, repairs to sections where we can fix one patch on a road and make the whole road, serviceable. But at the same time, when people do call, if there's a pothole or there's something that needs immediate patching, we do it. We
Right.
patch it. We have actually either cold patch or we have a hot mixer, so, which lasts longer. So we'll get, hot mix asphalt like you would pave a parking lot with, and we will put that down. It lasts longer than say a cold patch product, but it still is it's a temporary fix. So if people call and there's a pothole or something like that, no, we want to fix it. And so please do call, and we'll evaluate it. And, we do have lists of areas. But if a whole street's bad, it doesn't make sense to do a miscellaneous concrete patch there, because you're just going to do a patch that's attached to bad road. So, there's a method to it, and we want to make sure that we're trying to utilize the money in the best way possible. If the whole road's bad, that's going to be more of a capital improvement project. You can see from our capital improvement list, we're lucky to do one street a year. So, it's a daunting task. We have, 85 miles of roads in the city, and, there's only so much we could do every year. And
How many miles of road?
we have about 85 miles of road.
So if I'm a resident and I say, well, the patch is falling out, can't you really fix this road? And it's not fixed right away, I sort of feel like my complaint is lost, but you keep these. Can you explain how you keep your list and how you get to the ones eventually and how it could be years?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, we definitely keep lists when people call and complain, and, we evaluate it. But again, like if it's a whole road that's bad, you're not going to fix one little section. It just doesn't make sense. It's not you utilizing your funding efficiently. But we do tell people, we're honest with them. I mean, we don't say, oh yeah, we're going to come and fix it and then ignore them. We tell them and we explain it to them. Here's, we have a certain amount of funding. This patch, yeah, we could fix this patch, or no, this patch isn't gonna, we just can't do that right now. It's gonna be put on a longer term plan, but a longer term plan, it may be 5, 10 years down the road.
Wow.
It's just the way that the funding works. I would love
If
to
it
have.
started raining money in Oak Park, you could fix all the roads.
I would love to fix roads. I love doing it. To be honest with you, like that's one of my favorite things. I have a passion for fixing things, so I love doing it. You give me a ton of money and we'll fix a ton of roads, but,
Right.
the fact is that we're limited, right? I mean, we're limited on the amount of money we get. It's paid for out of gas taxes. We only get so much and we try to utilize it the best we can.
Thank you. Did you have something, Dave?
I did. I just wanted to clarify, the miscellaneous concrete project, I think all of you know this, but I want to say this anyway, that not to be confused with the other capital infrastructure programs that we're going to be doing. One example of that is North End, which is going to have a brand new water main put in there. And I know North End has been, if anyone's been down to North End, you know this, it's in bad shape. They have a new water main put in, and shortly thereafter, they're going to completely reconstruct that area.
Correct. It'll be all one project. And interestingly enough, North End has 2 water mains under it. So we're going to be redoing both water mains and, it'll be one project. So they'll be doing the road, immediately thereafter. It's a major project. I mean, we have $3 million budgeted for that project. It's a big project.
That stands outside as a separate capital improvement project, but I wanted to mention that. And also, I I don't want to get too deep in the weeds on this, council members, but I just wanted to remind you that part of when citizens are giving us their input on the areas of the city that need to be fixed in terms of roads especially, we are going to be very soon migrating to a system, a CRM system it's called, where people will be able to log on to the city's website, and hopefully we'll have a city app associated with that, where they can log in and go to a link and see how many complaints have already been submitted for the same pothole that's on their road.
Right.
It will literally show them there's been 25 complaints for the same exact thing, and then we will take that information just as much as the residents will know there's a complaint filed already. We will take that information and begin forming our priorities around that as well. So that'll help in our determination of where we're prioritizing some of these projects as well,
Right.
especially the miscellaneous concrete projects.
Yeah.
Is there any way that we can make this public information, where we could post the areas where the city is going next to make repairs? Because I know, I hear it all the time too, that, you know, our street's been like this, like a hellscape for 8 years, when are you gonna fix it? And I know there's some sort of schedule. Can we make it public?
I could look into it. The issue becomes just how then, it's gonna be a lot more work for us to put it in a presentable form and instead of our spreadsheets that we keep track of. But it's not something that we couldn't do, so I'll take a look and see. But it would require a whole nother level of work for presentation format instead of just record keeping.
Can I also say that, in my opinion, we have a responsibility to make it public. At the very least, our residents need to know, this is quite a bit of money that I believe, we have a responsibility to tell them where we're going to spend it. As Kevin mentioned, that is difficult in this situation because the priorities change constantly as the needs change. But I believe we have a responsibility to do that, and we
I
will
think
do
if they saw how long the list was.
Well, this project will probably, I'm just throwing it out there, it'll probably be 50 or 60 different areas. It's not not like 3 projects. There's 50 or 60 different areas that are gonna get,
So there are going to be a lot of happy residents.
so.
Not everybody, but.
Right. But some are gonna be repairs that are needed, like I said, we came through and, dropped a tree on the drive approach and it broke the drive approach, or what, who knows what, or, a tree fell, or, broke the street up, or, any number of things.
The resident who gave me the piece of cement from Lincoln is going to be a happy resident because we're going to fix that.
Well, I
Being
can't,
being a half-mile road.
okay.
Likely?
But I'm not exactly sure what you're talking about exactly, so we'd have to talk about it. You have to point out exactly where it was. If we've talked about it and I told you it was gonna get done, then it'll get done, but.
Right. Thank you so much. You do a lot, and if you had the money, you do it all.
Yeah.
So you take a lot of grief because you can't do it all.
Right.
Even
No,
though you'd love to.
Like I said, I enjoy it. I enjoy doing these projects, but, we also have to weigh them and, carefully determine, which ones we're gonna do. Some people are gonna be happy and some are not. And unfortunately, that's just the nature of what we have.
And you pick the worst first, is that?
That's the goal, but then at the same time, like I said, you might have a whole section that's bad and you're not gonna fix a patch on a bad section of road, right?
So
You have to
there-
make, it has to make sense.
There's logical reasons for why certain parts are fixed.
Correct.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Let's see, where are we? Are we on the vote? Okay. If there's no further questions, roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Edgar,
Yes.
Mayor McClellan,
Yes.
Councilmember Whitehead,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Burns.
Yes.
Motion carried. We're on item 13, ordinances, second reading and adoption of an ordinance to amend Chapter 82, Utilities of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Oak Park, Michigan, by amending Section 82-313 thereof. We have a brief, first a motion to adopt the second reading and adoption.
So moved?
Mayor Pro Tem, thank you. And a second?
Second.
Thank you. Councilmember Whitehead? Someone is here to talk about that.
Good evening, Madam Mayor.
Our finance
Good evening.
director, Sandra Crawford.
Good
Thank
evening,
you.
Madam Mayor, City Council, and Mayor Pro Tem. City Manager Tungate. Before you is the second reading amending the utility ordinance, as you said, of Chapter 82, Section 82313, to reflect changes for the minimum monthly water charge and sewer disposal charge from 2 units to 1. It is recommended that the City Council adopt the amended ordinance, which will change the minimum monthly water charge from 2 units to 1 and the minimum monthly sewage disposal charge for a minimum bill of 2 units to 1. And the draft second reading is attached.
And who benefits from these?
The minimum bill users.
The minimum bill
Because when we
people?
were quarterly, a person would get, the minimum bill was 5 units. And so you got 4 bills a year, so it was 20 units that a minimum bill person was paying. And so now they'll be paying literally 12 units
And so
a
these
year.
are people that don't use much water.
I'm sorry?
Don't use much water.
That is correct.
Madam Mayor, we think there's about fewer than 1,000 of the 11,000
Yes.
customers who would fall into this range as minimum bill customers.
Right. But it seems more fair than charging people for water that they're not using. So we are doing this as a service to the community.
Yes.
So we have a motion and a second, and is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, sir.
just one discussion.
Yep.
One, is this going to be able to be communicated to our residents, the change? Because I did have a call from a resident who said they were unaware that Oak Park had a minimum billing. So, could we speak to
Yeah,
that?
so we, you know, obviously, we need to get this legislation in place, and of course, it doesn't take effect for 10 days after the second reading tonight. But we've talked a lot about it. Of course, we need to go on a full-scale, you know, media campaign here to make sure people understand this and they know it. Of course, they'll see it reflected in their bills, in their.
We talked about it in the town halls.
We talked about it in the town hall.
Because it actually came from a special meeting in August, one of the special meetings in August that it came. And so then we added the conversation to our water town hall presentations. And we also, I believe in the last communication, we indicated that it was gonna, people would not see it until their October bill because we had to wait the 10 days from the reading. So they won't see it, the billing they'll get this month, but they will see it, the billing in October.
So the billing period will be in October, but the actual bill they will be received in the beginning of November?
Yes.
Okay.
That's confusing to people, too.
Well, again, because we're billing you water you've already used. We can't do it in advance.
Just one other question. As far as we talked about the, just under 100, or under 1,000 residents who would be impacted by this, do we know how many of them are actually absent owners, possibly vacant owners, or, I know our intent was to help as many people in need as possible. But
I
could
don't
you-
know if we could tell you absent owners. We could, probably if there was like a duplicate bill on there, that would give us an indication that it's probably a landlord-tenant type situation. But all the bills say occupant, so it's really hard to associate the demographics that make up that household.
Thank you, just wondering. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay, are we ready to vote then? Roll call, please.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes.
Councilmember Whitehead.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Burns.
Yes.
Councilmember Edgar.
Yes.
Motion carried unanimously. Thank you. We listen to you as residents and we respond to you as best we can. We're on 13B, second reading and adoption of an ordinance to amend Article 2, Division 1, Section 201, and the official zoning map contained therein, being part of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Oak Park, Michigan, by changing the use district of certain parcels of land currently zoned PUD, planned unit development, to LI Light Industrial District, and I believe this is on 11 Mile Road. Let's get the motion first.
So moved.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Burns, and second?
So I'll second.
Thank you. Councilmember Edgar. We have, Director Kim Maroney.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and City Council members. This is our second reading to rezone 3 properties that were formerly zoned for planned unit development. The purpose of zoning them back in the day, I believe over 10 years ago, was to attract new investment and having more flexible zoning in that area. And the properties in reference are the Armory, former Armory properties. So now that the last parcel has been approved for a site plan, all of those properties will have been redeveloped very shortly here, and we're proposing to rezone them to the proper use, which is light industrial.
Are there any questions? Just making the zoning match what's actually there. Anything further? Any questions? No? Ready to vote? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Whitehead,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Burns,
Yes.
Councilmember Edgar,
Yes.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes, motion carried unanimously. Item 13C, second reading and adoption of an ordinance to add sections 18-185 to 18-190, Division 4, Chapter 18, Article 4, Fair Housing of the Code of Ordinances, City of Oak Park, Michigan. Need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second?
Thank you. That's Councilmember Edgar and Mayor Pro Tem Burns. Can we have just a short recap of what this one is?
Good evening, Madam Mayor and Council. This is an ordinance to prohibit income source discrimination in the City of Oak Park. It would effectively prohibit landlords and sellers of property from discriminating against citizens that are going to be making their rent or down payment with government-sourced income assistance, whether it be Section 8 or some other governmental program.
Any discussion? Questions?
Madam Mayor, just one point of discussion. I do want to say I appreciate Commissioner Charlie Cavell for being one of the forefronts and bringing this to our attention. I know the city was already working on ordinance like this, but I appreciate him being an advocate for it as well.
Thank you. Okay, roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Burns,
Yes.
Councilmember Edgar,
Yes.
Mayor McClellan,
Yes,
Councilmember Whitehead.
Yes.
motion carried. Let's see, item D, first reading of an ordinance to amend Chapter 2, Administration of the Code of Ordinances, City of Oak Park, Michigan, by amending Article 6, Public Library, Section 2, 651, Appointment of Members, and Section 2, 652, Terms of Members, Removals, and Vacancies. First, let's get a motion and a second, and then we'll refer to our city attorney.
So moved?
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. So that's Mayor Pro Tem Burns and Councilmember Whitehead. Let's see, city attorney, can you explain this one?
Good evening, Madam Mayor and Council. This is an amendment to the Code of Ordinances. The only change that you are seeing reflected in your minutes is that the library board will consist of no less than 5 members as opposed to the current ordinance, which requires no less than 9 members. So it is a reduction from a minimum of 9 members to a minimum of 5.
So that is the minimum, but more could be added.
That is correct.
Okay. Terms and removals and vacancies?
There is no change, no other change to the ordinance.
Okay, all right. Are there questions or concerns? No, okay. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Edgar,
Yes.
Mayor McClellan,
Yes,
Councilmember Whitehead,
Yes.
and Mayor Pro Tem Burns.
Yes.
motion carried, thank you. There's the city attorney, I think, has already spoken. And city manager Eric Tungate.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of council. I would like to ask City Clerk Ed Norris to take 15A, please.
Thank you. Before you is a resolution adopting the 2022 regular meeting schedule of the Oak Park City Council. Just as a reminder, council is required to set their schedule, and we do it this time of year because we try to get the schedule all, calendar all set up for next year. So that's why we do it now. So the resolution lists the regular meetings for 2022. There are the first and third Mondays, except for the days that fall on a holiday. And I will just mention that you have a revised resolution because we kind of missed one. But I'll just review the days that are not the normal first and third Mondays of the year. January 3rd is Monday, so I'm sorry, this 3rd and 18th. On Monday, January 17th is Martin Luther King Day, so that will move to the January 18th. On June 7th, this was the addition, there is a religious holiday on June 6th, so we would move that meeting to June 7th. Obviously, July 4th, that would be the meeting would be moved to July 15th or July 5th. September 6th, which would be Labor Day, would be moved to the 6th because of Labor Day. And then one final on the, there's a religious holiday on Monday, October 17th. Therefore, it's proposed to move that meeting to October 24th. So the resolution is before you.
Madam Mayor, could I just add to the city clerk's? One other thing I wanted to point out to you was that and please correct me if I'm mistaken, Mr. City Clerk, June 20th is not Juneteenth. June 19th is Sunday, correct? June 20th would be when the federal holiday Juneteenth is observed. We do not yet observe officially Juneteenth. However, I wanted to bring that to your attention, so if you wanted to move that date as well to the Tuesday.
I have a question.
Yes, I'm Mayor Pro Tem.
What holiday is June 7th and October 3rd and 24th?
It's actually June 6th is the holiday, and we're moving it, the proposal is to move it to June 7th. It is the holiday of Shavuot.
Okay, so in the past, we've never changed any of the council meetings because of religious holidays. If that's the case, we have to do it for every religious holiday across the board. That's why we didn't do it in the past. So I'm curious as to when did it change?
I can speak to that. You are correct that, at least in my time here for the last 9 years, we did not, we did change the schedule for federal holidays that we observed. We began observing other holidays, in this case in the Jewish faith, 2 city councils ago, in the 36th city council.
Which one?
The 36, so this is the 38, 36.
2 city councils ago, so that was, no, because that was when my other 2 council members were here.
Well, okay, that's 1 city council ago then, yeah.
Yeah, I said, no, it wasn't 2, and it was yeah.
Well, technically 2, but it's the 1 group different before this, so yes.
So yeah, I have a problem with that, like I had in the past. We don't do anything for Kwanzaa, do we?
Nope, It's not a religious holiday, it's a cultural
Well,
holiday.
well, no, but we have to, there are still other religious holidays, that's what I'm saying, throughout the year.
Hmm.
Madam Mayor, if I may,
Yes,
I would, on the June 20th, I know that the calendar that we got on today's agenda did say that, and City Manager, thank you for recognizing it, that June 19th is going to be celebrated, at least federally, on June 20th. So I would probably recommend that it be changed to the 21st, I guess, the city council meeting.
can we, let me think, is it a separate motion to add a date?
This would be a motion to amend.
To amend. So, your motion is to amend to change the meeting on the 20th to the 21st?
That's correct. And then also, do we have to do the same thing if we did want to amend the June 7th one as well, I guess? Or could that be a separate?
Well, let's work on this 20th to the 21st thing first. Is there a second for moving the 20th to the
I'll second.
21st? Is there a second?
She's asking.
Second, okay, good. Okay, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? No, so,
Yes,
yeah, there's one opposed.
yeah.
Yes, so 3, okay. So, we're adding Juneteenth on a vote of 3 to 1. Okay. Religious holiday, I think there were members of council who didn't want to miss, the business. They wanted to be able to attend.
No, that's fine, I understand that, but
Yeah.
we have never changed the meetings for a religious holiday, even when we had our other members in the previous council. They even agreed to that as well.
We actually have. So we did,
I think it
as
was
of that
Michael
last group.
Seligson who didn't want to, and then
And
after that.
also, Paul,
And Ken Rich was the one, that was the council when we began.
And the
Yeah.
Ken Rich one was the one that
That was
started.
the
okay, well, I just wanted to make my objections known, that's all.
Sure.
Can I also just weigh in on something else? That and I've confirmed this now with the city attorney too. What the charter says is that we have to have at least 2 meetings per month. It leaves it open as to when you schedule those meetings. Presumably, you could have those meetings in the same night, as long as you're having 2 a month. Not that you would do that, but,
Right.
so,
So we have leeway in scheduling.
But
So,
I get that.
when Michael
but-
Seligson was here, we did not.
we haven't
change the
done it
meetings.
until it's never been done until last year. I'm just curious as
The
to
Ken
the
Rich-
rationale as to why. And are we gonna do it for other religious holidays?
Like what?
Like-
I have to go and
Religious
look.
holidays.
I'm not quite sure.
I mean,
I have to look. I just have an issue. I thought that our meetings were the first and third Monday, no
That's
matter,
by tradition,
with the
but it's
exception
not
of
required.
holidays, with the exception of calendar holidays and federal holidays.
Right, but it's
So
not,
now, and
it's
then
not
what are you
in the
gonna do
charter.
when we get suppose we get a different council? You gonna change it again?
Possibly, to be flexible.
Okay.
I don't see why if the statute says we just have to have 2 meetings a month, I'm not sure why it matters when exactly those meetings are. And we should be flexible, because there are people who, they're prohibited from driving, from using electricity, et cetera.
I get that. I get that.
And let me point out that Christian holidays are federal holidays, so nobody works, right? So these holidays are not federal holidays. They're not official, but they're very real for people.
I'm not
So-
saying that they are not. I'm saying for the last however many years the council has been in session, we've never changed it because of a religious holiday, because of an Orthodox holiday. That's all I'm saying. Because there was an issue when we changed the 4th of July parade. Remember, it was a big
Oh,
issue
yeah. Right.
because it fell on
Oh, right.
yeah.
And then nobody could come because they weren't out of work. They had to go to work. Nobody could come to the parade.
No, that's not why we changed
well,
it.
but we changed it because of the Sabbath.
Yes.
Right. It fell on the Sabbath, and there was a request to do it, and it wasn't very well attended because people were at work.
It was well attended.
Yeah?
Yeah. It was well attended.
Hmm.
It was.
So where are we now? We are, let's see, we have the one holiday changed, and we have a motion to, accept these dates as printed. Is there, are you gonna do a motion to amend, or are we gonna vote on the dates as they are?
Oh, I'm not gonna vote to amend.
No.
You guys are gonna,
Okay,
no.
all right.
No, I was just making my,
Make your feelings clear. Thank you, appreciate it, thank you.
why I'm gonna vote no on there, so.
Right, okay. So, roll call vote then, please?
Mayor McClellan.
Yes.
Councilmember Whitehead.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Burns.
No.
Councilmember Edgar.
Yes? Yes, okay. A motion carried 3-1, and it's fine to disagree, fine to disagree.
That's what I love about this place. Thank you.
Yes.
Assistant City Manager Kevin
And
Mead.
we disagree so civilly, because our city manager has been in a city where disagreements were not civil, and nobody agrees with everybody on everything. But it's how we make our point, and not getting personal, and just, I'm just proud of us, I think, for how we handle our meetings.
Assistant City Manager Yee, could you
Mhm.
join me at the podium for 15B, please?
Thank you, and good evening again. Attached is an agreement from DTE Energy to add 13 new LED luminaires, along with retrofitting 4 existing fixtures with LED lights. This is for the linear park on 9 Mile Road. The proposal includes all materials and labor to perform this work. The total cost for the agreement is $89,596.08. So this is installing 13 new poles with the decorative heads and luminaires on them, and retrofitting 4 existing. It's recommended that the agreements from DTE Energy for decorative LED lighting be approved for the total amount of $89,596.08 upon city attorney's review of the attached agreement. Funding is available in the general fund for these improvements.
Nice. The poles have decorative what, did you say?
Luminaires, the light fixture itself is like a decorative, like a spiral type of
Ah.
decorative fixture.
Do you have a picture of it? Do they look like the ones at Victoria Park?
It actually looks similar to the ones that are out on 9 Mile Road now, but they're DTE lights, so they'll maintain them. So if you look out there now, there's a decorative light that, there's 4 of them, so you can see with that luminaire, but the luminaire will look similar to that.
Madam Mayor, may I ask a question? And who-
Yes, Councilmember Whitehead.
Thank you. Who provided the lights that are current, that you're talking about currently, the 4 lights?
So currently, we installed those as part of our, when we redid the linear park, the pavement, we put those in. And we looked at us installing them, and it was a lot more expensive for us to install them, and then we would be responsible for to maintain them and, pay the electric bill and everything else, and it would be, we felt it was much more cost-effective for DTE Energy to actually put them in, maintain them, be responsible for them, and then we would just pay them the monthly amount like we would a street light.
Any questions?
Not a question, but a comment. You know how I feel about DTE. And I want to say that I think these dollars would be, instead of them giving us an agreement for lighting, they should be giving us some information about cutting back these trees so we don't have as many power outages as we do.
Amen. Preach. But, yes.
I was just going to use this opportunity to give an update on that, if you don't mind.
Oh, okay.
Councilmember, so I attended the Public Service Commission meeting last week on behalf of the city. It was very fruitless. In fact, they did not discuss the power outages in great detail. There is a meeting set up, I believe it's on September 25th, that is being organized through Oakland County with the communities in Oakland County to address the DTE maintenance issue, of course, throughout Oakland County. And I'll be in attendance. And by the way, elected officials are welcome to join me too, so.
Aha, we'll be there.
It's in Lansing, right?
It's actually being held virtually.
Oh.
Madam Mayor, if I may?
Councilmember Whitehead.
I would second, or echo Mayor Pro Temp on not being too happy with DTE, to be honest, hence my question on who provided the lights prior to. But I'll leave that for another discussion. But point 10 on the application, I see, if you have it in front of you. It says, does the requested customer lighting design meet IESNA recommended practices? And then we have a no there. It says, I guess a signature is required. Could you speak a little bit about that in regards to that?
You know, that is a great question, and I unfortunately don't know the answer to that right now. So I'm thinking what that is, and I shouldn't even speculate really, but I'm thinking what that is that this light is not a standard item for DTE. This is a specialty type of item for them. And so I'm thinking that it doesn't meet their routine stock item, but I'd have to verify that. I don't know the answer to that off the top, so I don't want to say with certainty that that's the answer to that.
Sorry, that's just the lawyer in me. I mean, I guess we would need a signature there, but do you know what IESNA is at least? Is that the type of lighting?
No, I do not.
Okay,
No, I
okay.
don't know what that is. So, and again, before we would sign this agreement, we would have it gone through by the city attorney's office, and we can find that out and make sure it's not obligating us to anything that would be, detrimental to our interest.
I believe, as I'm just sitting here looking this up, it looks like it's the Illuminating Engineering Society of North America is what I'm seeing here.
So I think what they're probably saying then for that, if I had to guess, this is a pedestrian style lighting. It is not a roadway lighting. So I'm guessing that what they're basically saying is that you're choosing a luminaire that is not intended to light a roadway. So this is a pedestrian style light fixture. That's what it's intended to do. It's lighting the linear path for where we're putting all of our play amenities, which should be starting to be installed in another week. But
And just one more question. I know you mentioned that we looked at the option of us installing it ourselves and maintaining it. Did we look at any other option other than DTE? I just know a lot of our residents are not happy with DTE right now.
right. And I completely understand that, but the reality is that there aren't any other options for someone who's going to own and maintain the lighting. I mean, they provide the power, so there's somewhat in control of what you pay to get the power to them. And then for them to own and maintain it, quite honestly, is pretty cost effective for our street lighting. So, in that way, it is pretty cost effective. They, when they put the construction in, they give us a rebate back for, 3 years of electricity for those, 3 years of the maintenance agreement. So it really is, when we looked at it, it was pretty cost effective for them to do it. I don't disagree with your sentiments about DTE Energy and what the electrical service they provided to this community and Southeast Michigan, let's face it. But the reality is that, they are the best deal for this type of lighting.
I have another question.
Yes, ma'am.
There's currently lighting there, right? You just want to exchange it and put these there?
So there is not pedestrian lighting on that path other than the 4 luminaires that we're going to replace. There is street lighting on the street, but there's not lighting on the path. So we want to provide lighting on the path to make the path, feel safe and welcoming. We're putting playground amenities in there. We're putting a lot of different things in there. We want the path to be inviting. So that's what this lighting is. It's intentionally just for pedestrians on the path.
Nice. This is going to be a showpiece.
That's the goal,
This
yes.
park is going to be a showpiece.
We feel the same.
We are proud as can be about what this is going to be like when we are done. And I think the playground equipment is ordered and some of it's coming, or?
Yes, they're going to start installation, I think the 20th. It's in within a week or two. They're going to be starting that installation. So we're going to be getting this stuff out there very soon, and it is going to be transformational for that area.
Transformational. I like that word. We will send the city manager to the Oakland County meeting, well-armed, to stand up for us. In my opinion, having nothing to do with these street lights, but having to do with DTE. The chair of the Public Services Commission was on public radio talking and saying things like, well, there ought to be metrics and they ought to be held responsible for how many outages and how long they last, and responsible for a tree trimming program on a certain schedule every 5 years or whatever it is. And I just thought, where have you been the last 10 years that I've been mayor, and I haven't seen any of this stuff. And so he was saying that he thought the Public Services Commission needs more power from the legislature. So we will talk to our state representative and see what can be done, because this should have been done ages ago. I've been in my house 30 years. I think the trees have been trimmed once or twice in that time in my backyard. And if it's supposed to be on a 5-year schedule, it isn't. And the deal is that tree trimming is considered maintenance. DTE is a profit-making corporation that makes money for its stockholders. And tree trimming is considered maintenance and is not a profit center for DTE. And somebody has to hold them responsible for doing that anyway, because 66% of the outages are because a tree fell on the line. So they're gonna have to deal with the city manager and me, and I am not happy. And I rarely get my dander up, but I got it up this time, so look out.
Ma'am, let me tell you, give you some more information to arm you with when you and the city manager go to the MPSC meeting. DTE has contracted, and has for years, contractors to trim the trees.
They contract out tree trimming,
They
yes.
contract out tree trimming,
It used to be in-house.
but they're not doing a very good job of it.
Nope. Nope.
So, and it's been going on for years, and they pay these contractors a lot of money. And DTE still makes a lot of money, and their prices are steadily going up. And our power outages are increasing. I think my power has been out maybe 3 or 4 times within the last 3 months. And
Now-
that's just totally unacceptable. And I hear them on the radio talking about how they're gonna do this and they're gonna do that.
Real vague,
Yeah. yeah.
real vague.
And they admit, yes, and on their commercial, I believe they say that 75 or either 80% of the power outages is because of the trees and the tree limbs
Yep.
that fall during storms. So they know it.
Yep. That
And
needs
they've
to
been
be
knowing it.
number one, not the last thing on their list that they cut if the budget needs cutting. You're right. And we will take that along with us. They are going to
I think I
get
may
an,
join that virtual meeting.
they are going to get an earful.
Yes, they are.
So, and some of it, to be fair, the number of storms that are coming, it's nothing like it was in 1950. There are more storms, more violent storms, more strong winds, more flooding where the water just comes in one swoosh instead of a gentle rain. That is climate change, folks. And that is not the fault of DTE, but they knew it was coming, and they're not trimming our trees.
It's not the fault of DTE, of course not, the climate change, but along with the climate change, technology and new inventions and everything else has been happening since the 50s. So,
Amen.
you know, they should grow with the time, with the changes, with the times, which they've done in most of their areas except for tree trimming.
Right.
So I mean, you can't win with me and DTE. I'm sorry, you
No.
just can't.
A lot of people join you.
You know, and I worked for DTE for 10 years.
Oh, Lord.
So,
Anyway, back to the, thank you for listening to our rant. Back to the agenda. I think we're on a vote for the lights. We do want lights on the path. We like everyone to feel safe and welcome. This is the joy of my life, getting this park going. It's just a real thrill. We've been talking about this for a decade, and it is coming now. So if, with your permission, we will go to a roll call vote.
Madam Mayor, we actually need a motion and a second.
Okay. Motion to approve the agreement for decorative LED lighting. Okay, Councilmember Edgar, and a second, please. Need a second? Councilmember Whitehead?
Second.
Thank you. We certainly have discussed your ears off on this one. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Whitehead.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Burns.
You can vote
I know.
no.
No.
Okay.
Councilmember Edgar.
Yes.
The mayor?
Yes, okay. Mayor McClellan.
Yes, so 3-1, and I understand your objection to giving even a plug nickel to DTE.
Thank you.
Believe me, I get it.
Thank you, Assistant City Manager Yee. Director Kimberly Maroney, if you could join me at the podium. Speaking of the 9 Mile Linear Park.
Oh,
Good evening. On March 1st, the City Council created the newly 9 Mile Public Art Ad Hoc Committee, sorry, that's hard to say, with the purpose of reviewing and making recommendations to City Council for any art RFPs that we receive through the process. We had the deadline set for May 14th of this year and received a total of 5 proposals. We met with the committee approximately 6 times in order to make decisions and recommendations to City Council. It was hard to choose the artwork, but it was carefully reviewed by the committee. We reviewed it based on points in a spreadsheet that were the items that were highlighted in the RFP that we told the artists we would be scoring them against. So all of our committee members participated in that, and from that is our recommendations. I would like to take a minute to say thank you for those that did participate. Councilmember Sean Whitehead, Lori Stasiak from the Recreation Department, myself, and from the public, we had Zachary Crosley, Michelle Stevenson, Sudha Sakar, Mark Newport. So thank you for your help in helping us create this new ad hoc committee. And Benny, I think, is going to put up on the screen the 4 pieces of artwork. The first one is a piece by Dale Rogers. It's called 8-Foot American Dog. Go ahead to the next one, Benny. This artist is actually a local artist from Oak Park. His name is Dale Teachout, and this is the first piece. It's a rendering, so you can't really see the piece of art. He'll create it. The first one is called Tree Hugger, and his second piece is Basketball. And go ahead to the last one, Benny. So this one is a rendering of a piece by Foster Willie. It's called Indigenous Oak. And go ahead to the next one, Benny. This is pieces of similar artwork that he's done that I think get more, instead of just a sketch. We'll show you what that last piece of artwork will look like. So those are our 4 recommendations for public art on 9 Mile Road. Our budget was $40,000. We have budgeted for this $39,830, so we came in under budget, and we also actually, through the Patronicity campaign, raised more than what we had anticipated, so that was extra money we can use for additional art on 9 Mile. And Crystal and I are working on maybe doing some murals along the corridor, some more to come there.
okay. Love the dog. Do you need a motion?
We need a motion for you to accept the recommendation of the art pieces.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem, and his second.
Second.
Councilmember Whitehead, thank you. Discussion. What, the drawings, I'm not sure how they go up. Are they just a flat thing?
I mean, how they're installed?
I mean, I see what the dog is and the 2 drawings.
The 2 drawings, so what I didn't include in the slides, but was in your packet, it showed the SpongeBob. So there'll be a slab of concrete, and that kind of gives you a good rendering of it. Do you have that I can bring one up to you.
Not in color, but.
Oh, it's 3D.
Yeah.
Oh,
So that's a piece that he has in his front yard right now in Oak Park, just to give you an idea of what the pieces look like. So he used recycled materials and puts them into pieces of art. So he would create them on his property and then install them on the concrete slabs that are in place.
Madam Mayor?
Mayor, yes, Councilmember Edgar.
So you only got 5 proposals,
Correct.
so 4 of those 5 made the cut.
No, so there were 5 different artists that did proposals. The committee decided to select 3 different artists, 2 pieces from one artist because his pieces were a little less expensive, and then the 2 other pieces that we have in front of you. We did have 5 different artists. Foster Willie, for example, he proposed just 3 pieces of artwork, spending the entire $40,000 budget with that. Dale Rogers actually proposed doing 3 pieces, and his was $40,000, but they were all going to be the same piece in different areas. And then Dale Teachout, the local person, he proposed 5 different pieces, so he proposed 1 at each of the sites. And then the last 2 proposals that we got, and I can't think of their names off the top of my head, but they just proposed 1 piece of artwork each. One of them was actually a piece that's already in existence at Lawrence Tech University, so, yeah.
I have to say I have some misgivings about the Dale Teachout pieces because we only see the one that already exists. And as the mayor pointed out, we're just looking at drawings. I don't know how that will all come together. But the one that you showed us that I think you said it's at his house.
Correct.
It looks a little messy, like it could attract some additional, it could attract undue attention, I think. But I respect the ad hoc committee's decisions. That's what we charge them to do. I guess we'll see how it all comes together.
Yeah, I will add to Dale Teachout in his proposal, has promised, since he is a local person, that he will keep those maintained at any given time that needs to be. So as long as he doesn't move out of town, we got him.
Madam Mayor, if I may.
Art is controversial, yes.
I just want to say this, this ad hoc committee was a lot of great work to be a part of, and a good time, and a lot of hard work, though. We did meet extensively, as Director Stasiak and Director Maroney and Director Van Fleck know. We did ask them to even redraw some of the original sculptures to kind of make it more Oak Park centered and themed. So they did come back, even though it was only 5 requests that for production that were produced. They did come back with different drawings that are what you see today. And it was the one thing I did like too was that the Dale Teachout is from Oak Park, so I like having an Oak Park resident being featured, and that's one thing that we were very proud as a committee to promote.
Yep. Well, it'll cause some talk, I'll tell you that.
That's what art's supposed to do.
Yes, right. So do we have a motion? We have a motion. Are you ready to vote? Everybody ready? Yes, okay. Do you want a roll call? Yep.
Councilmember Whitehead.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Burns.
Yes.
Councilmember Edgar.
Yes.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes. So we're going to hear a lot about some of that art. I'll tell you that right
Yeah,
now.
and just so you know, we won't be installing the art until spring. We want to get all the work done with the recreation equipment first.
I sure like the dog.
Yeah.
All right. Should go in the dog park, don't you think?
Well,
Yes. Yeah.
That's what we were thinking. We knew you and Councilwoman Edgar would like the dogs.
All right. Yeah. Considering I'm always putting dogs on the Facebook page, that's the truth, yeah.
Okay, thank you, Director Maroney. 15D as well, please.
Yeah, so we will be presenting to City Council at the next meeting on Monday, a new ordinance to have a process for vacating alleys and streets. Part of that process will include a fee to cover the city's costs. As you know, when we add things to the fee schedule, we look at what our actual costs are. We don't make profits on them, so we analyze the hours that were involved, the cost of doing public notification, which is the main part of our costs, and came up with a fee of $950 for anything under 21 parcels. And if it's over 21 parcels, since there will be additional work and notifications needed, we recommend the fee schedule be set at $1,300.
Can you explain vacating an alley?
Yeah, so there's alleys in Oak Park. Some of them are necessary, some are not as necessary anymore. And we've had requests in the past of people wanting to vacate them to do a development on per se, but we did not have a process in place. The process that we have per our ordinance was predated to, and Courtney, can you give me the date of the new state law? I can't remember the year.
1996.
In 1996, the state passed a new law on how to vacate alleys and streets. Our ordinance is out of date for that, so we need to bring ours up to date so we can move forward with the project that we have.
And so what are we vacating? When you vacate an alley, what exactly
Cleaning it
happens?
out.
So we keep an easement underneath the ground for any utilities that we may have there. We don't allow buildings to be built over them, but if they wanted to do a parking alley or parking lot or something like that, or a street, we would allow for
To
that.
use that land?
To use the land, we would still have the easements underneath. But they do need to get approval from any adjacent property owners, and also for them to agree to not take half of the property as well. So a lot of work is involved in doing it, but at least there's a path for them to move forward.
Okay. And what do you see in the future here in these?
It's part of the new 9 Mile development with the apartments.
Got it. Got it. Any questions? Are we ready to vote? We have a vote.
Madam Mayor, we need a motion, please.
A motion to approve the recommended fee for vacating a street or alley in the amount of $950 for under 21 parcels and $1,300 for 21 or more parcels. I need a motion.
So moved.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, and a second.
Second.
Thank you, Councilmember Whitehead. Discussion or questions? Let's see, roll call vote, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Burns,
Yes.
Councilmember Edgar, Mayor McClellan,
Yes,
Councilmember Whitehead.
Yes.
motion carried. Thank you.
Madam Mayor, members of council, that completes the city manager report for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, City Manager Tungate. Call to the audience, if you would come up, give us your name and address, and limit your comments to 3 minutes. We'd love to hear from you.
Good evening, Ken Sherman, Jerome and Oak Park. 2 items. One involves DTE and the issues that you were talking about. Prior to tonight's meeting, I received a press release from the Attorney General's office, which I forwarded to City Manager Tungate, saying that the Attorney General is going to be holding town hall meetings to discuss the issues related to the DTE power outages, and the first one scheduled is coming up in Novi, so City Manager Tungate could probably forward that to those who are interested in attending that or future town hall meetings by the Attorney General. And then my second item is to thank the city for the timely finishing of the infrastructure work on Oak Park Boulevard and the nice job that they did re-cementing the roadways and the curbs and putting down sod on the grass that had been removed. So, very
Thank
nice
you.
job. Thank you.
Thank you. We never get kudos, but it's nice. Nice of you to notice. Anyone else?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Brandy Shelton, and I am a resident as well as business owner within the city of Oak Park. Recently, I've had quite a few challenges with working in conjunction with the city of Oak Park in regards to a new endeavor that I have currently on Coolidge between 8 and 9 Mile. Within this recent discovery, I have submitted quite a few pieces of paper, and my challenges with submission is, number one, is something of having a better conversation with the city in regards to expectations for people and the businesses that we try to operate within the city. I have been informed, so just to give you just a general background, I have a restaurant, I have a food truck, and I have this particular building as well. So not just one business, I have three, right? My food truck is an extension of my cafe. My food truck is never going to be able to be allowed to operate within the city of Oak Park. No one can tell me why. No one can show me any written proof as to why. No one's done anything except Oak Park doesn't allow food trucks. That's all I've been told. Correct. I have taken to the constituents of the city, just try to get some insight to be able to figure out why it is. I've also talked to people outside of Oak Park, and they have been told as well that they're not allowed to come here to operate their business, even though they are registered as an Oakland County food truck establishment. And I've also spoken to Oakland County about the same issue. And I have a meeting with them on Tuesday of next week to go over this in more depthly, because going back to working with the city, someone from the city contacted Oakland County and told them that I was trying to run a restaurant out of the building that I have on Coolidge, and that is a complete false. So now I have to have a separate meeting with Oakland County to be able to substantiate the fact that I don't, and I'm not planning on opening up a restaurant that's literally 6 blocks from a restaurant that I already operate. So if you know anything about marketing, if you go that deep, that would be suicide. It wouldn't make any sense. But in essence of all of this, my goal for today is to figure out a better way to work with city council members, city administration, and the constituents of the city. So the reason why I say in 3 parts is because you guys have your own rules, regulations, policies, and procedures. I understand that. I understand that you have a legal limit of what you're able to do. However, your communication from your website to your in-person meetings to how you communicate with the constituents or the business owners is not a nice word to put to it. It's too spacey. And there's so many rules and there's so many regulations. People who are, and I'm not trying to be funny because this is not about color, but people who are of color don't want to come here.
Can you finish up your comment? Thank you.
Yes. So long story short, people of color don't want to operate here because of the rules you guys put in place, because there's no explanation. So there needs to be something that has to change. And today's conversation today that I came here for was to be able to put it on record, number one, and number two, to be able to establish a better way for us all to communicate with everybody so that this, what happens to me, doesn't happen to somebody else.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for providing your opinion. Thank you. Who should she talk to? She will. You got it. City manager will talk to you after the meeting? Tomorrow. Okay, thank you. Anybody else?
Citizens of Oak Park. My name is Donald Jones. I'm on 24660 West Hampton, and I think our corridors are improving, and I really appreciate that. We can take our drinks outside the lubrication stations on 11 Mile and Greenfield and Coolidge as long as we stay inside the social district. So let's calm the traffic, expand the safe use of 11 Mile to a wider range of ages and modes of transportation, because right now 11 Mile is owned by Ford and GM. People from 8 to 80 can travel 9 Mile between Coolidge and Ferndale by car, bus, private bike, shared bike, skateboard, scooter, rollerblades, or on foot. The water fountain at the trailhead, so that's a positive. The water fountain at the trailhead was being soiled by mulberries, but I made a comment on the citizen actions thing and got back, we chopped it, so thank you very much. And let's continue regular gutter sweeping to avoid standing water from clogged drain gutters and the hazards they present to drivers and bikers. Let's sweep the bike lanes monthly. Let's repaint every year. Let's brush any snow off the bike lanes. Let's improve the bike infrastructure between shared bike stations. In other words, you can rent a MOGO, and where do you go from there? Onto Coolidge? And let's improve the Coolidge 696 overpass sign lighting. Let's prune the trees to uncover the signs. Let's add bicycle sharrows and share the road signs to the Oak Park Boulevard, because that's a marked bike lane, but there's no sharrows or share the road signs. Let's calm the traffic on Coolidge, because people go 45, 50 miles an hour. Let's advertise the existence of a U.S. post office in the Cool 9 Center. Let's increase the number of flower pots and flowers. Let's make the Cool 9 Center intersection safe for more than just drivers. I would never send my child through 9 Mile in Coolidge. So seeing the progress is inspiring to me, and that's what has got me to advocate for more, because I've been in communities where it's a waste of time to even stand up. So if you agree with any of these ideas, please let me know. I'm at 313-740-6300. Thank you.
Wow, all that in under 5 minutes, under 3 minutes. Not bad. Whoa.
There will be a quiz.
Yeah. Anybody else? On to Mayor Pro Tem Burns.
Thank you, everyone, for coming out and sharing your opinions. Please continue to be safe.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Council member.
Thank you, everybody, for coming out tonight and watching the meeting from home. I just wanted to mention that the Oak Park cleanup on Sunday along Greenfield between 9 and 10 was fairly successful. We managed to do almost a half mile. Somehow, like confetti, 1-inch pieces of confetti must have fallen off a truck, or we can't figure out how it all got there, but we spent a lot of time picking up small pieces of paper. I wanted to thank the people who were involved, along with the members of the Recycling and Environmental Conservation Commission. I want to thank Deputy DPW Director Dave DeCoster, who is also the staff liaison for that commission. He provided garbage bags, he provided gloves, helped us set up at Rite Aid at 10 in Greenfield, brought his son, who was a good helper. Our chairperson, Megan Osterly, was able to secure some garbage pickers, so we had plenty. I want to thank Tom Gerwood. He is a code enforcement officer in Oak Park. He came out with Laura Girdwood. We're not sure how they're related. They might be brother and sister. And but she was not on the commission, but she came anyway. Clarissa Clemens, Richard Reedus, Al Lewis, myself, and halfway into the cleanup, a young guy who lives in the Loop, Devontae McEwen, saw what was going on, stopped, got himself a T-shirt, a picker, and he joined the group, and he said, I really appreciate what you guys are doing. It means a lot to clean up the city. We all know it takes a huge effort to keep the city clean of litter, and our city does a good job of that. It's impossible to get it all, but it looked really nice, the stretch that we did. And I think that people take pride in that. And they take pride in clean streets. And so we're always looking for new members for the Recycling and Environmental Conservation Commission. We work on all sorts of issues, water conservation, sustainability. These cleanups hopefully will become a regular feature of the commission. So anyway, thank you for everybody involved. She loved that picture.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We want to empathize with Assistant City Manager Yee for taking the brunt of our complaints about DTE. I feel for you on that. I want to make it clear, I'm not happy with DTE. Our residents that I've been talking to aren't happy with DTE, so we'll be doing things moving forward to work on what we can do at a local level. I mean, it is true it's a climate change issue. It's also it's a climate change issue. It's an infrastructure bill that's much dearly needed issue, but we can do what we can on a local level. Be honest that I ran under the platform of having the best parks because Oak Park has the name park in it. And if it wasn't for the park, that was my toughest vote yet in doing this, to be honest, with voting to get those lights at the park. Because I'm not happy with DTE, but I also want us to have the best parks possible. So we'll have lighting, people could feel safe, it could be great for our aesthetics, so DTE does have a monopoly on a lot of things, so hopefully we can change that at some point. On some positive notes, though, do want to talk about the Oak Park Film Festival, October 8th through the 10th. That's going to be spread out throughout the city. Shepherd Park, Dog and Pony Show, and the Community Center will all be of our 3 venues. Was working on getting some things done for that today with the chair, Donnie Wilson from the ACDC board, the Arts, Culture, and Diversity Commission. There's going to be some golden tickets that are going to be spread throughout the city, so look forward to that as a resident. There's special prizes and gift cards that will be given away. Also, I echoed this during the meeting, but I'm very happy with our Linear Park Committee with the sculptures that we have coming for Oak Park. Made a lot of tough decisions, and I think that once the artwork once you are able to drive down and see or walk down with your family and see the sculptures there come spring, I think it's going to make everybody happy, and it's going to be a part of our goal of attracting families and young professionals to this city. Lastly, I was at the last concert in the park. The Parks and Recs does a great job with those concerts, and thank you to our sponsor, Humana. My mom was able to rock out. I know the mayor was able to rock out. So very fun time with the concerts this summer. I was glad we were kind of able to get some semblance of normal with having that back and being able to do it in a social distance, safe way. And I know the farmers market has a couple more weeks left as well, so I'm very happy about the farmers market as well. At the prior meeting last, I'll end with this, we did make some tough decisions in regards to a new COVID protocol, thanks under the leadership of our city manager, and made some tough decisions, but I believe we're on the right track and they were the right ones. So we're well on our way. Thank you.